So I'm in this position where I have a lot of fragrance clones because I talk about them here on the channel and I recommend them. But I also have the originals to all of these clones. So if you think about it, if you have the original of a fragrance, a lot of times you're probably going to be reaching for that one more often than not. But today I went ahead and looked through 10 fragrance clones that I actually wear because they are that good. Even though I have the originals of all of these here in the video, I still wear these for one reason or another, whether that be I just really like it, maybe it has a little bit of a different twist, and also the other reason is simply because these are more affordable. You know, if I want to save my full bottle of whatever niche fragrance or even designer fragrance that these are cloning, you know, I can wear these at a fraction of the cost and save a good amount of money. So if you fall in love with a certain fragrance, you know, like Creed Aventis, for example, you have the original bottle, but you want to wear it often, you don't want to spend that much money, you could save that bottle for special occasions and then pick up any clone and then wear that on a more frequent basis, and you could save a lot of money that way. 10 fragrances, we'll go over which each one of these are a clone of and just kind of run through it. I will link these all down below as well so you can get these at a good price. All of these here are affordable clones. So let's go ahead and get this one kicked off with Versace Lalique. This is one of the more popular Versace clones, and of course this one is a clone of Tuscan leather by Tom Ford. So it's got raspberry, it's got leather, suede, all of that good stuff. It has a earthiness, kind of a smokiness, a little bit of a fruity touch up top, of course, from kind of the raspberry in there. The DNA is really good. It's incredible stuff. You know, it's not going to be the most beginner friendly, but if you're looking for a jumping off point and you want to know what Tuscan leather DNA or smell is all about, you could either buy a decant of Tuscan leather and make sure you're going through a reputable seller, right? Because they can be bottled anything. You could buy a decant from some random website and it could really be a decant of this, which I guess, you know, isn't a bad thing other than you're overpaying for a product that you're not even technically getting. Or on the other hand, you could spend, you know, well under $100 and get a full bottle of this and kind of give you an idea of what it's all about. Later on down the road, if you really end up liking it and you want to get a full bottle of Tuscan leather, you at least know that you like it or that maybe you don't like it. I do have Tuscan leather, only a 50 milliliter bottle. That is one of the things about Tom Ford private blends is usually 50 mil is the standard. Pretty much all of them do come in a 100 mil option, although you are going to be forking over more money. Price per milliliter wise, it is usually a better deal, but still you have to cough up a good amount of money for a 100 mil Tom Ford private blend. So I can kind of conserve my 50 mil, and on days where I'm just out doing something real quick, you know, I don't want to waste some sprays out of my original bottle, I can go for this one. And it's strong, it's beast mode, it has a spot on smell, quality is great, and I really like it. I think this is one of those must-have clones for sure. Let's go over to a Creed clone. Up next, we have Moff Siash by Moff. It's the Club Nina Nuit line, and this is Siash. Now, this is a 105 ml bottle, and it is a clone of Silver Mountain Water by Creed. Usually $35, $40 for this one. So you have black currant, bergamot musk, all that good stuff. It has the Silver Mountain Water smell, but the inkiness is toned back. If you've smelled Silver Mountain Water, you'll know the inky note that people talk about. You don't really get it as much here, but you do get kind of the green smell, the tea, the juicy black currant, kind of fruitiness. You get all of that. It's very close to the Creed. And all things considering, the quality is pretty good as well. Now, it's not going to be niche quality or as high of quality as your typical niche or even super high-end designer, but it does a very good job for the price. I really do like this one. I think it's a great scent. The opening is also really nice. That is one of the things when you take a look at their most popular scent ever from Moff, and that is Club Nina Nuit Intense Man, which of course is an Aventis clone. That one is ragged on because of the opening, which is harsh, and it makes sense, right? The opening is a bit out there. This one, though, it's smooth right off the bat. From opening to dry down, silky smooth, no complaints. So it really is impressive. Again, for the price point, you can't go wrong. So we're going to go to a non-clone brand next. There's quite a few in here that aren't clone brands. And what is a clone brand? Well, Moff, Versace, even like Ajmal, typically clone brands. We have one from Prada up next. Obviously not a brand known for cloning, but it is Lunarosa Carbon. This one is close enough to Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum to be considered a clone. Now, I understand that this came out, I believe, before Sauvage Eau de Parfum, but of course after Sauvage EDT. Still, it's close to the EDT, but if you wanted to compare it to one particular Sauvage, closer to the EDP, given that this one is more smooth, more well-rounded, less super sharp. But still, it's close enough to the Sauvage DNA that I call it a clone, no questions. Of course, you have pepper, ambroxan, metallic notes, lavender, bergamot, all of that stuff. Sauvage note breakdown. Coal in here as well, which is kind of a fun one. It's Sauvage, man. At one point, this was a very affordable alternative, being that you could get, and hear me out on this, you could get a 100 ml bottle this size for $50. Like dead even. $50, $55, 100 ml. Going rate, it was pretty consistent. Now, if you can even get it in stock, you're looking at $70, $80. It's starting to creep up there to the point where you can just fork over the extra for Sauvage. That being said, I still do like the smell of carbon. It's a big compliment getter. My girlfriend really likes this one as well, so I still wear it, but it is kind of a shame to see that the price has gone up a considerable amount. I mean, getting close to double. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. Another non-clone brand, it's Bentley. This is Bentley For Men Absolute. So I guess you could consider them somewhat of a clone brand because a lot of their offerings do have some similarities. You've got, Silver Lake, kind of Aqua de Joe. You've got Bentley For Men Intense, which is a clone of, Chambray Noir, something like that, I believe, or, similar to that one, inspired by. So, car fragrance brand. They put out some amazing stuff, though. And, of course, this one smells very similar to Gucci Pour Homme 1, the amazing discontinued fragrance. It's very close. I don't have a bottle of that one. I was fortunate enough to get a decant years back, and they're close, man. It's shocking. It's got cedarwood, pink pepper, olibanum. It's smoky, it's spicy, it's dry, it's woody, it's masculine, a little bit boozy off the top. I love everything about this fragrance. Bentley For Men Absolute, one of my favorites. I love wearing it in the fall and winter time, and this one here is definitely a clone, and I'm okay with it. Considering you can't buy Gucci Pour Homme 1 anymore, this is the next best thing. All right, up next, we have Lalique White and Black. Now, this one is going to be a clone of Parfums de Marly Layton. So there's this. There's also Detour Noir by Al Haramain. I like that one as well. Could have featured it as well. So I guess it could be a tie. I didn't want to clog the video up with a bunch of Layton clones or anything, so I just picked one. That's Lalique White and Black. Both of them are good. A little bit different as well, but still accomplishes the same thing, which is a Layton smell. It's what it has, and it really does a good job. It's got vanilla, cardamom, lavender, hint of ambroxan, and sometimes I get a little bit of a coffee cappuccino smell out of this one, which is different. Layton doesn't really have that, but it's weird. Like off the opening, I can get just a touch of a roasted coffee. It doesn't stick around forever. Maybe it's just me, but I do get that. But still, it's closer to Layton than not. Definitely a clone, no question about it. And I wear it. I have Layton, of course. I only have one bottle, full bottle, not full, I've worn it, but it's a 125 ml bottle. That's relatively full. And, why not wear something like this if I like it to save some money, right? I'm fine with that. I don't really want to have to repurchase niche fragrances, especially designers under $100. If I have to do it, and I have before, I will. But it just always isn't fun to repurchase some big buck stuff. And so for me, I like white and black. I wear it a good amount, especially in the evenings, even in warmer weather evenings. Could be a good summer night date scent, that sort of thing. It's affordable, spray it on heavy. It's a decent performer as well. I dig it. Got another Moff. This one is Hunter Intense, and it is the Eau de Parfum version. So some people don't know that there's an EDP. If you can see there in that tiny little lettering, Eau de Parfum. There's an EDT and an EDP, which is more recent here. and I really like this one a lot. Now, in terms of what this one is a clone of, it's kind of Invictus Aqua leaning, it's kind of Aqua Atlantique leaning, it's kind of Dior Sauvage leaning, it's kind of Versace House leaning. Blue fragrance and aquatic mashed up into one. Sounds boring, sounds lame, and for a lot of people it is boring and lame. But when I look at the price, typically $22, 100 mil, on clearance a lot of times as well. I look at the performance on this one, which on me is really strong, and of course I smell it. I'm just like, sign me up. I love DNAs like this. Not everyone does, and I understand that completely. This is not going to be for everybody, you know. It is playful, it is youthful, and it's just something that people are sick of. At least some people are. For me, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but I just love stuff like this. And so for me, for 20 bucks, pick it up, spray it on heavily, hit the door. I'm set. I feel great. I smell great, and I hardly had to spend any money. And it's also like a mashup of a bunch of different things as well, so I don't have to go through and layer a bunch of stuff to achieve a similar result. I've got it all in one bottle. Alrighty, Missoni Wave up next. C notes, orange, citruses, got a hint of a floral in here as well. It smells like a combination of a couple fragrances, another hybrid here. Versace Purom, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So in a way, Versace Purom could also be considered a clone because the Chanel came out in 2004, the Versace 2008. There's a 4-year gap. This wasn't by coincidence. It's not like they were released the same year or within a couple months. 4-year gap. We know which one came first. We know that they smell similar. We know what was going on. Now we have Missoni Wave, and it kind of bridges the gap between the two. You get some of the sweetness from the Chanel, and you get that bright floral citrus freshness from the Versace, and it melds them together. You know, the Versace doesn't really have too much sweetness. The Chanel has some citrus, but it's not as bright, so it's kind of like a pick your poison type of thing. This one combines them. It's a hybrid, and I love that about it. You know, used to be that I would layer the two, the Versace and the Chanel, and I'll still do that. But if I'm heading out and I want, you know, something super cheap, this is going to be cheaper than kind of both of those, or right on the line with the Versace, I can go for this one. I've got a hybrid. It's easy to wear. It's easy to throw on. Decent performer as well, and I love how it smells. Another Creed clone, Moff Milestone. This is going to be a clone of Millésime Imperial by Creed. So this one has like red fruits, bergamot, melon, musk, all of that stuff. It's, you know, Millésime Imperial smell, no breakdown. That's all you need to know. I really like this one. The opening especially is great, and you get more of that melon smell that nowadays is kind of absent from Millésime Imperial. Over the years, they've, of course, changed it, reformulated it, regulations or greed or whatever they're doing. And so older batches of Millésime Imperial don't smell the same as new. Older batches were known for this salty watermelon smell. It smells great. I had an old batch at one time, and I unfortunately sold it, which I'm kicking myself about. But I can kind of get a similar vintage feel out of Milestone here. You know, that salted watermelon smell, you kind of pick up on some of that you don't get from actual new batches of Millésime Imperial. I think that's pretty cool. Not going to be for everyone as well. I get a lot of comments saying that this one smells like a grandma, so, you know, be careful with that. 30, 35 bucks. It's not like you're going to be out an arm and a leg if it doesn't work out for you. If anything, give it away. Use it as an air freshener. For me, though, I like this one, and I'll wear it, especially because my bottle of Millésime Imperial is a 2016, which was new when I got it, and now it's kind of getting to be where it's vintage. So I don't want to burn through it too much, and you definitely can because it's not really a good performer. All right, second to last fragrance. This will be the last Creed clone. It is Mercedes-Benz Select. So I could have gone Club de Nuit Intense Man to finish the Moff trend here, but wanted to highlight another brand, another car fragrance brand. Are they a clone brand? Not necessarily. They do happen to have a clone here, but they got some original stuff as well. It's Creed Aventis, and it's a really, really good version. The opening is almost more vibrant and juicy than actual Aventis. You know, this one's got the black currant, it's got the apple, bergamot, ambroxan. What else did I write down? Bergamot, black currant, ambroxan, yeah, all of that. Apple, like I said. Just that fruitiness. I love how it smells. I could smell it all day. I love the opening. That's Creed Aventis. It's vibrant. It's so uplifting and also so affordable. $40 typically. Testers that do not come with the cap you can get, you know, for an even better deal, but the cap is the way to go. It does put it together. These bottles especially, I think, really suffer in the looks department without a cap. It's not a big deal, but, you know, I prefer that look any day. Still, you're getting an Aventis smelling scent for a fraction of the cost, and I do wear this one. Even though I've got plenty of Aventis, I still wear it. I like it. And last step for this video, we have Calvin Klein Defy. So this one's going to be kind of, you know, inspired or cloned of YSL Eau de Parfum. What I like about this one is the vetiver. Now, this fragrance right here is one of those scents that is going to have a tough time. It already is, because what people do is they either blind buy it or they just go into a department store. They go like this, they smell it, they go, oh, YSL EDP, they set it down, they walk out, and that's it. That's not the way to do this one. You have to spray it on your skin. You have to let it dry down, because on skin and on paper in the air, the opening is YSL EDP. The dry down is so vetiver heavy though, a nice soapy, clean, and high quality for the price vetiver. And that's what separates it. So it's kind of like a clone in the beginning, and then it kind of goes away from that, but I'm still kind of considering it heavily inspired with a different twist. But that's what it is, you know, if you want a YSL smell with kind of a more mature vetiver in the base and the dry down, this one is the way to go. I like it a lot. For notes here, we have vetiver, lavender, amber, all of that stuff. I mean, that's just it. It works so well. And for me, I'll take this one any day. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 fragrance clones that I actually wear because they're that good. Yes, I have the originals of all of these, but I still wear these because they just get the job done. And in some instances, I kind of prefer them sometimes over the originals as well. They kind of add a little bit of a twist. Links to these will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.